Hello guys, my name is Timek and today I'll be your host and Bartek will be joining me as a co-host.
Hi, I'm Bartek. I'm joining as a co-host.
Today's episode is kind of a long-awaited one. It's a journaling challenge which was supposed to take a month and it's been 2 months. So I think you're all happy to have this episode finally out, and I think the another month has greatly helped us with achieving this challenge.
Sure. Okay, so maybe we should clarify why, first of all, it took us almost 2 months to finally record this video. I don't want to complain, but it's been a tough month. Let's say we had a lot of family events that we had to attend, and we just weren't home most of the days, and it was weird. So we just didn't have time for recording anything, and we kept postponing the journaling video, this video. So it just ended up this way. But I'm happy that we finally got to make it.
Yeah, the thing is that when we start when we started with the idea of the challenge, it seemed really easy and fun. However, when a lot of things happened, we weren't always at home. For at least for me, I wouldn't always do the journaling every day. And I think that having another month actually helped me because I actually had some break in between. It was like a few weeks. I would come back, then another week, and I would come back then. And I think because we had this another month, I now am on a good path to actually journaling like every day or at least a few times a week. So I'm kind of glad that we got this break.
Yeah, so that's the second reason. We basically failed the challenge on the first week and didn't journal.
I mean, it isn't really a fail since we actually, at least I don't know how it looks for you. However, at least for me, I actually journal now. Not every day, but as I've said, a few times a week. If there isn't anything think is worthy of journaling, I don't. However, if I do find something, then yeah, it's a great way of expressing my thoughts.
Yeah, I as I said, actually, I failed this challenge a lot because I didn't journal every day, as the same as Timek, mostly because I forgot, but also because when I finally got back home from some event, I was so tired that I just went straight to sleep, and I really like journaling before bed. It helps me clear my head from thoughts, and since I didn't had this time period, I just didn't journal.
However, I still don't think it's a bad thing. This is kind of a habit, I would say, that it's hard to do every day. It isn't like gym that you can go every day, build muscles, then recover, go do another part of your body, recover, and so on. It's easy to lose things. It's not like lose things to write on. However, not every day will be important. Not every day will have something going on. And uh, for example, in my journaling, I started with doing three things: gratitude, some thoughts on things happening around me at the moment, and like some things I want to do later on. So concentrate on and try to do actually. The thing is, at the moment, I've only kept the middle part because of two reasons. First of all, I would usually do one page of journaling, and after some time, the thinking part of my day, of my life, or something just like my philosophical thinking would take up most of the page. And after some time, I would say that gratitude is still a good thing. However, I wouldn't really have many new things coming up, and not everything I have could be expressed through gratitude. And there aren't as many goals that would appear every day for me to write them every day. And I didn't really want to write the same things because that's not the idea of journaling.
No, the
However, that's
okay, I'm gonna let you finish. Sorry.
yeah, that's only my views. I don't mean that those things are bad. It's that the middle part, the thinking part, just worked the best for me.
Just out of curiosity, if you when you gratitude journaled, how much things did you write down? How much like things were you grateful for?
I think I did about 5 a day.
Okay.
That was my because I didn't really want to do 10 because as I've said, I did 1 page of like a notebook, so 10 would be like 2/5 of a page, I think. And making more or less wouldn't just having less wouldn't really provide anything, and having more still would have the issues with overflowing the page.
You know, I think you have a weird mind block, mind roadblock that you limit yourself just to one page. Why did you do that?
It's not kind of a limitation, but that kind of makes it a habit and compromises my thoughts, compresses them. So I could write on a page about one thing, one book, one person for a whole page just talking. However, and I could write even more. However, if I want to say something that has a purpose, I'd rather write just a page, not to have any unnecessary thoughts, not to just let my mind go around things I don't really wish to be written.
Yeah, but sometimes you have more to write about, sometimes something exciting happened, and sometimes, as you said, nothing happened, and you can't even fill this one page.
Yeah, so the thing is that I said 1 page, and most of the time it was 1 page. However, there were days where it would be like a third of a page, half of it. Sometimes I think would be days when it was a sentence or two even.
Okay. By the way, was it A5 or A4 format?
It was a notebook, so I think it's A5.
Okay, so a smaller one. You know, I
Yeah.
have a bigger one. I have A4 format. Okay, let's move on to the benefits. What mental and or emotional benefits have you noticed?
The simple thing is that you actually think through things through much more. So as I don't think if we spoke about it, but if you don't journal, there are a lot of thoughts you meet throughout the day. Like something catches on your mind, you do something, and you don't like you think a lot of throughout the day of it. Like maybe you passed one girl on the street and you were like, yeah, she's really cute or something. I would like to talk to her, and you didn't. And throughout the whole day, you would think of it, and at the end of the day, you didn't come to any conclusion because you were just thinking of it, then leaving the thought, then doing something else. And if you actually journal on it, it's much easier to come to a set conclusion, to maybe come to a choice, or maybe think of something you actually want to do within that thought. So it's easier to concentrate on things you meet throughout the day, on important things, or at least things you think are important, of course.
So it also brings this self-accountability factor, right? Because you saw a cute girl, and if you didn't journal about it at the end of the day or when you got back home, then you would just forget about this whole situation and you wouldn't approach another girl when you saw her. So that's a cool thing.
Yeah, I would say it's like you can even make a plan within the journal. Like if you met her, let's say on a Wednesday when you come back from school, there's a chance that maybe she's also coming back from school, so you can meet her on that set day. Maybe you could try something around. Maybe she goes to your school. There are a lot of things you can think through to like set up connections on it. Or maybe you come to a conclusion that yeah, maybe she was like, if you think of it, she was a lot older, and that's not really what you wanted from that relationship. So yeah.
Okay, but I honestly think it's not a good thing to plan approaching a girl because
I mean, I don't
it's
really.
it makes you overthink the whole situation. And let's say you planned to let's say you met her at the gym and you plan to approach her after the workout and she's with her friends and your whole plan is ruined because now she's in a I don't know with five other people and you're not you don't want to interrupt their day or something and this whole plan of yours is ruined now because one thing went wrong and if you didn't overthink that thing then you would just go up to her.
Yeah, okay, I agree on that part. However, my thought of process is like maybe you were going for a bus, you had something important to do. Maybe you didn't really have the time to actually approach her. You like saw her and were like, yeah, I would really want to approach her, but I really gotta go. Maybe I've got a plane, maybe I've got a bus, a train, or something. And after you actually have the time, have the opportunity, think things through, you may notice that she actually goes to your school, then try to approach her, since you now have the opportunity to actually have this time to do something with it.
Okay, so you just want to plan to approach her, not write a plan of approaching, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
More
that's
the plan of it wasn't a plan of approaching, more of a thought plan.
that's way
Yeah.
different. Okay. I would actually connect this point to enhanced memory. A lot of people say that they have when you are in a social situation, there is always this one guy that always tells stories and you think to yourself, oh man, I have nothing to tell. I have no stories. And that's just because you don't remember anything. If you go out every day, let's say you go to school, to college every day, maybe not every story would be very interesting, but you would have at least one story every day. And if you journaled about it, you would remember it better and you could then tell the story to your friends.
And the fact that uh, first of all, I would recommend to write it in an actual notebook, not like a notes app or like document on your computer, because it feels much better to actually do it in person. Like if you know anyone that like goes to school and does like writes their notes on like a laptop or something like that. And I mean like high school, because if you go to university, most people write them on a laptop because it's faster and it's much easier to see. However, if you go to a high school or a normal school, you don't really need that speed, and having it written in an actual notebook just connects you better to it. And I think you remember those things even better than writing on your keyboard.
Yeah, that's a weird point. I totally agree with you that writing by hand in an actual notebook is for some reason better. I don't know any science behind it, but it's just as you said, it feels better and you just remember it better. It makes you connect to your thoughts better when you write it by your hand instead of on your computer or on your phone.
The thing is that you don't even need to like buy a notebook. The notebook that I journal in was my old notebook from some subject in school. I just had like 90% of it left, so I took it and just started journaling in it.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah, like no reason to waste any more notebooks, no reason to buy them if you have the opportunity. it doesn't take up much space, and I'm sure that if you go to school, you have a lot of notebooks for the subject that you were like, yeah, I'm going to need them, like 60, 64 pages, I think it is, for a notebook, and you actually write on like on about five of them at most, and the rest is just left. So there is no reason to make excuses that you don't have a money for a notebook, which would be weird, or that you don't want to buy another or have a place for it, because most likely you already have one.
Okay, so I would move on to the next benefit, and it is gonna be mental clarity. You know that when you write these words on paper, you kind of empty your mind from it in a weird way, and you can, when you have a difficult situation, a problem, writing it down helps you solve it better because you are now put in a third person view. You now see this problem on paper. It's not your problem, it's someone's problem on paper. You see this, you are unbiased, and it just it gives you better judgment on the situation.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, because there were a few things that I had problem with while journaling, and the fact is that it may seem it may not seem obvious. However, if you overthink on a situation and journal on it, it kind of removes the problem. Even if you don't come up with a conclusion on it, your thoughts already drift past it. You just put it on the notebook and like close it. It's like just taking a part of your mind and putting it away. If Because there were a few things that didn't that I would think through every day or like a lot throughout the day. And if I journaled on them and I wouldn't want to think on them, think about them, that kind of left it in that journal. And I wouldn't really worry about it that much.
Okay, I would like to connect this point to two other. So first will be improved sleep because, as I already said, it helps you empty your brain. And when your brain has no thoughts in it, you can just relax. And when you go to sleep and your brain isn't just running with some random thoughts and remembering this one situation, that girl you didn't approach, that weird stuff you did in school or something, you empty your brain from it, you just go to sleep and sleep like a baby. What are your thoughts there? Have you experienced it?
I mean, I don't really sleep like a baby. However, the thing is that that doesn't really connect. However, recently I stopped really using my PC throughout the week, like the weekdays. So for the past 2 days, it would just be me coming back from home, having some walk, journaling, taking care of things, and I will have even an hour left before like 9, 10 p.m. of nothing left to do. I wouldn't play, and journaling at those moments feels really good. That you have just a whole day, you can journal on anything. You did some things, like if you went on a walk, there are some chances that you met somebody there or did something that you wouldn't usually do. And just having this time without your PC, without those stimulations, and having the option to journal then feels really good. And that whole process kind of helps me sleep like a baby, if you ask me.
Man, you're living such a peaceful life, such a like a dopamine free life. I would call it an old man's life. It sounds weird, but hear me out. Old people are, they're not addicted to phones or something. When you talk to them, they are actually here. They hear what you want to say. They talk to you. they are not distracted by the phone. When you're in a social situation, you can probably remember it. I bet you had a lot of situations like that. You are in a gallery with your friends and you went for some food. I bet that at least one of your friends pulled up his phone and started scrolling for some reason. You are talking to him and he's scrolling. He's not even paying attention to what you're talking about. That's so weird, man. We have to be more like old people. We have to just be there, be more peaceful. Don't distract ourselves with technologies. That's so good. I'm happy for you, bro.
Yeah, but first of all, it's only been 2 days since I started doing
Okay,
that, and I
okay,
hope
never
to
mind then.
keep up with
Never
that.
mind then.
Yeah, but correcting you kind of. The thing is that, as you said, old people do that, and that's a thing that old people do that haven't really discovered using the mobile phone, like they still use a flip phone, or like seen the phone and were like, now it doesn't have anything for me. I'm just gonna still use the flip phone. Like they didn't think that they should use it because I don't know if you noticed, but for example, our grandma some
I
time
knew you
ago
were gonna bring
got
this up. I knew it.
got got a mobile phone, and for example, now I don't think is the mobile phone is the reason. Yes, she's probably still getting old. However, she sometimes doesn't even listen to you while she talks to you, and there are times when we are like all sitting at the table and she is scrolling through her phone.
You know what? But she is different with it. What I mean by that is when you or your friend is scrolling through phone, you aren't really 100% focused on scrolling and aren't really focused on what's going on outside the phone. And when she is doing that, she's either fully listening to you or either fully scrolling. So it's such a fun thing to observe. She would be sitting right next to you. You would talk to her and she's just zone out. She's locked in on this phone.
Yeah, the thing is that I think, as I've said, this may be not an issue with the phone. However, since she is locked in on something, there happens to be at times when she asks you, for example, what hour it is, you tell her, and she doesn't even listen to that, she doesn't even respond, and like 2 minutes later, she asks you what time it is, but because you haven't answered her yet.
You know, that's just thing with our grandma. She used to not
Yeah,
listen to your response even way back before she discovered a smartphone. Okay,
yeah, I guess
that's
so.
coming back. The second benefit that I wanted to connect to that is critical thinking. It, as I said, it makes you see the situation from the third person point of view. So even in day to day life, you start thinking more critically. You start thinking, oh, should I do that? Is it the right call to make it? Is it the right call to make? You just start thinking critically.
Yeah, it kind of connects to Stoicism, which we have already discussed, that you don't think with your emotions, you think as a spectator, as you said. So you don't really look at the emotion side, at least not always. And if you have a choice to make, you think of the actual pros and cons instead of what you feel or what they feel or what is happening around. Like, you think much clearly.
Okay, so as we're in more of a social circle, no, no, no. As we're in more of a social aspect of life, I would like to go with social benefits that it gives you. So, first of all, improved communication. when you write things down, you start being more articulate with your thoughts. So when you talk to somebody, you don't, when you're talking about something, you're telling a story, you're trying to explain something, you don't just say something and it doesn't even make sense. You have more articulated statements and you get your point across better because you don't just go around the topic, you go straight to the topic. You know what you want to say and you just say it.
The points that we've made, I would connect most of them to what I called the middle part, which is the part for thinking. However, the two parts I left after some time, which were the gratitude and like challenging yourself or making plans, also have their own benefits. For example, gratitude really makes you appreciate things in life because even though I didn't do that for long, only for the first, I think it was 3 weeks throughout the whole 2 months, you still do notice some things after that 3 weeks. The thing is that I kind of stopped doing that because I stopped having things to have really gratitude for, at least like new things. However, after some time, since I've been doing the gratitude journaling, uh, and since I've been like losing things I were grateful for, there I started noticing like the small things. So, well, I was doing the journaling challenge. I was like writing with my pen, and then I was like, this pen is really good. I remembered that I got it from the seventh graders while I was finishing the eighth grade in elementary school. It is like, it is a simple thing, however, it is really fun. I don't really take it to the school nowadays, I just leave it beside my bed to do the journaling. However, it may seem like a simple thing. However, when you think of it, of the story it even has, it is a thing to be actually grateful for, and I'm happy that I got it. And that's only one thing of many that I am grateful now.
So that's one of the purposes of gratitude journaling. So you appreciate small things. That's first, I'd say. Second one is appreciating something bad that happened to you. Let's say you start appreciating that you broke your arm, let's say, because it helped you learn some new skill that you couldn't learn without breaking your arm. I know it's a weird example, but
Yeah,
that was the
I would say
first
that
first thing that came to my mind.
if you broke your arm, it's more of a that you think now from the perspective of people that actually may have broken something, that the difficulties it provides, it changes kind of your views on life, and you may be a bit safer while, let's say, you broke it, I don't know, fighting or like training or doing some risky things as a teenager would. It makes you look out for those things more and be a bit more perceptive of your life.
And it makes you appreciate when your arm is fully healed. It makes you appreciate that you can actually do things with both of your arms. Okay, but the third thing I'd say would be appreciating people in your life. You see, we tend to go about our days and don't really appreciate what other people do for us. Did you, I'm asking you directly and the viewer watching it, did you hug your mother today? Did you speak to your mother today? Did you give her a compliment?
I didn't hug her. I'm sure I did speak to her, and I don't think I did compliment her. However, I will kind of blame it for the fact that I was at school up to 4 p.m. met her at around 5. We've been together for like an hour buying a suit, and now it's been an hour and a half doing the video because we were kind of talking.
Okay, so you're just making excuses right there. You see, we take other things that other people do for us for granted. I remember first time I walked up to my mom and told her that I appreciate what she does, that I'm so grateful that she cooks every day, that she makes laundry, that she makes all these things. She, first of all, she looked at me weird. She she thought I was, let's say, drunk. I don't know what exactly she thought, but she thought something's going on. But then she kind of cried. She was so happy that finally somebody appreciated her, that somebody saw what she's doing for us and gave her the credit for doing that.
Yeah. Also, I think
Actually, sorry
that
to
it
interrupt
was.
you, but that's a challenge for all of you. If you didn't, if you never appreciated your mom, if you never expressed that, you gotta do it right now or after this video.
By the way, uh, I think that it was also a chapter in The Way of the Superior Man, if I remember correctly.
Was it? I
One
don't
of the,
remember.
I think it was one of the first ones to appreciate the work of your mother or something like
Nah,
that.
bro.
I, I,
You
I,
tripping, bro.
okay, give me a second.
Yeah,
I'm
give
going
me
to
a
check
second,
it.
man.
I don't.
I'm
I have an
getting.
ebook, so
I have an actual book right there. Boom. Let's see. Cause you tripping, bro. There was nothing like that. Where was it? Which part? There are 7 parts, I think. 8.
I hadn't read the whole book. Remember that fact.
You should read the whole book.
I'm reading like 4 books at the same time at the moment.
Yeah, there's nothing like that.
Uh, the 31st page. I think it is about your
What do you mean,
partner,
31st?
not your
31st.
mother.
Her complaint is content free. That's the
I
title
mean,
of the chapter. So you're
okay,
tripping, bro.
I'm not
I
sure.
was correct
The
as
chapter
always, man.
the ch-
As
the
always.
chapter is called Compliment Her. And as I've said, I don't
Nah.
think
The
it
chapter
is about.
31st page. 30 or 40.
Okay, there is a chapter called Compliment Her. I think it's like the third chapter of the second saga. I don't know how to call it.
Praise her. Praise her.
Yeah, it was Compliment Her for me. And I'm not sure if it was talking about your mother.
No, it was about praising women in general. But okay, I'm gonna give you credit for that because
It is kind of
it's kind of
connected.
connected. It's this chapter was about dealing with feminine, just with feminine. So basically, it was about that you should appreciate women posit and that positive reinforcement works for women. So calling out works for masculine, for men, but positive reinforcement, praising works for women. So if, let's say, your sister cooks for you and you're gonna praise her for that, she will be more willing to cook for you again because she got praised and women like being praised. Okay. So you weren't that wrong, but
I was
yeah, you
close,
were
yeah.
close.
I got it
Half right,
partially
yeah.
right. Yeah. Okay, and the third part in my journaling I included was like the planning part. I don't know if it has a specific name you call it by. However, it would be kind of a goal setting part. So I would have a few of the last lines of my page. However, how many I had, and I would put my goals into that. Those wouldn't be really the goals for now or for tomorrow. However, a goals I strive to do in some time going. So to stick going to the gym, stick doing the journaling and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be something far-fetched, I would say, that would really help me. However, just putting those goals felt make made me more attached to them, I feel. The thing is, as I've said, after some time I didn't really have a lot of new goals or didn't really have the opportunity to write many more or find new. So that's why I stopped doing it. However, you don't need to do them in the quantity that I would, because as I've said, I did however many lines I would have left. If it would be 5, I would do 5. If it would be 8, I would do 8, or something like that. However, if you just stick to doing 1 or 2 daily, I don't think you would or I would encounter those problems.
Yeah, I have a really weird thing with this one-page limitation. But moving on, uh, yeah, it's a good thing to write down your goals because when you see, it's very important that you write them down and put them somewhere that you can see them. It keeps you accountable. Whenever you look at that, you read that, it gives you this motivation that, oh man, let's say you wrote down that you have to go to the gym. You're like a little bit tired, but you say to yourself, man, yeah, I gotta go hit the gym. I'm going right now. So seeing that makes you remember your goals better, holds you accountable, and motivates you at the same time. And that's why I have my goals sticked up at the wall, right there, right behind
Yeah, I
my
can
screen. Yeah, you
confirm
can
that.
confirm.
I can confirm that. Yeah. Uh, by the way, we won't really say much about the goal setting since the next video should be about goal setting, so we will say more and expand on the topic in the next video.
Spoilers, bruh. Okay, so moving on to the next point that you could journal about is planning your day. We kinda talked about it in one of our previous videos. I don't remember which one, but I know that we did. And I don't want to repeat myself, but planning tomorrow, today, gives you this unbiased judgment. You don't you don't decide because of your emotions. You wrote down you were gonna go to the gym, so you wake up, you go to the gym. It's not, oh, I'm tired or something, I'm gonna go later. No, you wrote down that you're gonna go at 9 a.m., you're going at 9 a.m.
By the way, there's one thing I wanted to say to that is, if I remember correctly, after we did the video about managing your day, managing your morning routine, stuff like that, one of your friends, while we were meeting, told you that she actually writes down a few things she will do the next day, and that is kind of what we are talking about here. And I think that's a great thing that she came to that conclusion and does something like that.
Yes, she said it helps her be productive throughout the day. She feels like she is productive because she is actually achieving something. She's fulfilling her small goals, I'd say. So yeah, that's the point. Okay, so I believe that's all in this video. Stay a lifelong student and see you next time.
See ya.